Today we are talking about how to handle the high and the low notes. So what we'd like to do is do some brief warm-ups and exercises to demonstrate how I suggest that we handle the high notes first, and then we'll do the low notes. So high notes, yes, they're in a lot of songs. Now sometimes a high note will feel higher than at other times. So for instance, if you're singing a song and it's very low for a few minutes and then there's a leap, that will feel like a high note. But if the whole song was sung up here, that note wouldn't feel high. It would feel like it was so similar to the others that it wouldn't be a big problem, okay? So sometimes a high note the problem is not that it's high, the problem is that it's a leap, that it's a big jump for you, and sometimes that can feel hard to hear. And sometimes we don't have the vocal agility to reach that note easily. Now, what do I mean by vocal agility? So one person will be able to go, ah, like that. Split second, they'll hit those two notes and it will be almost perfect, okay? If I do that for a non-singer or a beginner singer, not only will their physical apparatus of the voice have more trouble figuring out what to do, but also the mind of somebody who's more inexperienced will come in and sabotage you and be like, she wants me to sing it quickly, help, you know what I mean? And it just feels like, oh no, I can't do that. So with this vocal agility, it's something that you build very slowly but surely. Vocal agility comes from singing a lot, practicing certain things that are difficult for you, and warming up. Okay, so today let's do a little bit of warming up to get our voices ready to sing a little later, because we're going to do a little sing along on Let It Be at the end. But let's just warm up the voice a little. So let's try humming. If you're finding that you're not able to tune straight into what I'm doing, listen to it in your mind, in your head. Have a little feel of it in your mind. Good. Now, one of my big tips for singing what feels like a high note. So we're not moving from a low note to a high note here, right? A high note would be here. That's a high note. We're down here. So it's not a high note, but it is a leap, okay? Okay, so first things first. This is the most important tip that I can give you. I want you to imagine that it's not going higher, okay? And there's a reason why I say this, okay? Because notes don't actually move up and down on a scale vertically in front of us. Why we all go and look up for the high notes is just a mental thing. The actual note is not going up or down. There might be a slight shift in where your vocal folds sit in your neck. And when you do the high one, it does feel a little higher. There's a bit of more of a pull on the vocal folds, okay? But the real thing that's happening, and the reason that there's a little pull in the neck to hit a high note, is the vocal folds move faster for high notes. It's actually a faster note, not a higher note, faster. Does that make sense? So when you're singing these two notes with me for a little warm-up, I want you to be careful of looking up, imagining the notes on a vertical scale, and I'd like you to kind of think of the notes as being slow, fast, but within a kind of a small space. We don't want to think of them as moving out here and down here. So it's like, sometimes I talk about this like as if there's a tube in front of you, and you have to sing the vibration through the tube, no matter whether it's going slightly higher or lower. So, and if I was doing, I'd be trying to imagine those notes going through this little tube, okay? So slightly slower, slightly faster. Notice if your jaw tenses up, for the higher note. Try and keep it loose. Oh, actually, why don't we do some yawning? Yawning, my favorite thing to do for loosening the jaw, and a little massage here for the jawline. Ooh, yawning. Oh, that's good. And again, little massage, and then yawning. Okay, so we're doing that note again. So almost let the jaw drop on the what you perceive as a higher note, which is really a faster note. Good. We're moving up a little. Same thing, through this little tube. Relax your tummy with a sigh. We don't need a lot of air for this. It's like 2 notes. You need very little air, and in fact it's better to use less air. Ready? So just humming. Good. Relax the tummy with a sigh. Yeah. So you're keeping the notes within this tube, not allowing it feel like it's going from here to here. And you'll bring the jaw out, and your eyes will look up, and everything tenses up. Keeping the jaw loose. Try not to smile into it. Oh, I do that myself. Notice what your jaw is doing. If you imagine that your face is really slack, like you've just gotten an injection of Botox everywhere, right? You're just like that. It's my fish face. Remember fish face from earlier in the week? Surprise fish face. Jaws loose. Relax that tummy. Keeping that jaw loose. Relax. So what can happen now? We are getting more towards the higher part of the voice, which is a slightly different feeling to when we sing in the lower levels. So that high note might have been harder than the previous one for you. So here's the tip, right? Keep the neck nice and long. Keep your chin towards your throat. So instead of being here forward, it's in towards your throat. I mean, I get a little bit of a double chin if I go too far. So, you don't have to go very far, but in, so that you feel a length through the back of the neck, like swan neck. We talked about that. So what you might do is put your finger here in your chin. Okay, drop your jaw a little. So you're not letting the jaw tense up. You're not letting your chin jut forward or jut up. Really loose jaw. And you're imagining that those notes are staying within that tube. I know I'm giving you a few things to think about at the same time, and it truly is like that. Singing is like juggling. You're trying to think of so many things. But just think of this tube, that the notes are not moving up and down, that they're staying within the tube. And also, if you can, think of this as well. Put your finger here. Keep the chin tucked in towards your throat. Nope, that didn't sound right. Now, the danger zone is, now that we're up here, I bet a few of you are doing this. Because sometimes we feel like we need more air for the high notes, but it's actually the opposite. Do you remember what I said a moment earlier about notes not being higher or lower, but notes being slower and faster? So your vocal folds on this note, I'm just giving you a little visual of it. This is not scientific, okay? Your vocal folds are moving like that. When we do the higher note, your vocal folds from that low do to the high do, so it's 8 notes up, a full octave higher, it doubles the speed of the vocal cords movements, right? So double. So when we have double the speed going on, when we're up high, there's so much more movement in the vocal folds that if we take a big breath, it disturbs them, and so the air is coming out too strongly for such a fast movement. I think it's like on this note, it's 400 times a second it's moving. 400 times a second. So if you take a big breath and then go, it's actually harder to control that sound if you take a big breath. Okay, so I'm asking you to imagine that you're using 10% of what you think you need in terms of air. So we were up here. That's the one I got wrong a second ago. So little, no air hardly at all. So take a little sigh. If you watch me, you'll notice I'm not taking a big breath in. How many of you still with me? Keeping within that tube so they're not moving high and low. Less air. Breathe out before you do it even. Keep the chin in the right position. In your face. Right, now we're getting down towards the low notes. What I'm going to suggest for the lower notes is that we start to feel the resonance or the vibration of the lower notes so that we can go a little lower while protecting our vocal folds. So what happens sometimes when we sing low notes is we'll go ah, and it'll be down here in the neck and the chest will feel really big. But what I'd like you to do is imagine that your sound is more vibrating in the face. Try humming it. Humming it in the face. Can you feel it in your nose? Can you feel it in your cheeks here? And then conversely, then try it from the neck. Down in the neck. Try to avoid that, keeping the low notes up there. So we're doing this now. Let's go from here. So we're doing the down version of what we just did. We did a second ago. Now we're doing. Now I want you to try and keep that low note within this tube area. So it's and we're keeping the sound in the upper part of the mouth in terms of the vibration. What we don't want is this where it goes down into the depths. Keeping it in that tube. You're doing really well. And if you're not getting this first time, it's not a big deal. I have to repeat this millions of times for students before it becomes completely automatic. And you have to practice it. You need to be able to practice it if you really want it to become a natural way for you to sing. So let's do this again. Think of the tube, moving into that tube. Keeping the feeling of the sound here. So the low note doesn't sound as low almost. If it feels too low, stop. On that one, I'm really focusing on the roof of my mouth vibrating so that I don't go into the depths of the neck. Because that will hurt my throat, it'll hurt my vocal folds. Do you hear the difference? It feels like it's coming out through here. It's resonating, which means basically it's vibrating within the head. Good. Excellent. So that's how to deal with the high and the low notes. Now there's a couple of other things I've mentioned on the cheat sheet checklist. I think I've called it a checklist. So on the checklist, I've got a few extra things on the low notes, okay, about your tongue position and larynx position, but it's a little bit more advanced and I don't really have time to cover that today. Your larynx is the neck, basically, and it can, when we sing low notes, we might feel a movement. If you go, you'll feel a movement in the larynx. So because it'll take me too long to explain it enough to do it safely, we're not going to get time to cover that today. Now, the last thing on the checklist is about singing for other people, okay? We've just done a really, really good week of kind of learning techniques and tips. Those things take a while to really take root and to feel more natural. And when you're learning to sing, or when you're an inexperienced singer, unfortunately, if other people hear you sing, they can be very judgmental about your sound. And some people will even say, oh, maybe you should, don't quit your day job kind of thing. They don't understand that you're in a process of improving. So when a child learns to write its name for the first time and it looks all wobbly, we don't go, oh my goodness, no hope for you. You better stop writing now. No, we don't do that. We're like, oh, good job. You know, and then we like teach them how to do the J again. My nephew's name is Joshua. J, and you know, he does it right, and he gets a little bit less wobbly, and you're like, yes, it's amazing. When we're singing as inexperienced or beginner singers, we have to be that kind and supportive to ourselves, and be saying to ourselves, you did it, you practiced, yay, you did something today with your singing. And don't be worrying so much about how it sounds to other people, and certainly don't compare yourself to recordings that you hear on the radio. Like, recordings, they take days to make. They're perfected in like the software. Like, even when Mike is, you know, recording my voice for some of the songs that we have up on YouTube, like, he corrects my pitch, and I'm like, Mike, it didn't sound that wrong. But he's a perfectionist about it, and he'll make sure. And then there are times where I'm like, oh, that didn't come out right. And if I'm very tired from singing for the whole day of recording, all he has to do is like change it a little, and nobody knows except you and me. We know. You know now. You're in on my secret. But just bear this in mind, that when you're listening to recordings, except for someone like Whitney Houston, who I know has the most amazing pitch and probably didn't need to be pitch corrected ever, just know that most of that is done over the course of a few days. It's corrected in the software. And also, those are professional singers. Like, they've had lessons their whole lives. They've been performing like numerous times every year. Like, they could be performing once a week or twice a week. Don't be comparing yourself to that. You compare yourself to how you were yesterday. Like, if you improve your voice even slightly, that deserves a boulabus, as we say in Ireland, a round of applause. Okay? And you are good enough to learn to sing. You're good enough to take the next step to learning. You are. You definitely are. Listen to me. Everybody who would like to sing can learn to sing. You may need my help. You may need to watch my videos or whatever it is, and you may need a bit of, you know, someone else's help. But it's something you can learn. It is a skill. A lot of young children that end up being really good singers later on have musical parents that interact with them musically every day of the week, and they learn their pitch and they're listening extra carefully as very small children. But not everybody gets that. Not everybody has that experience as a young child. So give yourself an out. If you didn't get a lot of musical skills from childhood, you can learn them now, and most importantly, have fun learning them now. Okay, time for our sing-along. I think I've had enough of chatting, and I'm sure you've all had enough of me talking. So we're going to do Let It Be. Now, I wasn't planning on using a backing track for this. I was going to just sing it a cappella. What do you think? Let It Be, okay? Just before we start singing, right? So let's say this is your favorite song and you want to be able to sing it as a party piece, or be the person who starts it and other people join in. We need to keep a couple of things in mind, and this happened because I was preparing this before coming on. I realized that the first note of the song is the lowest note of the song. That isn't always the case. Sometimes the first note of the song is a high note and it goes much lower later. But in this case, the first note is the lowest note in the song, so it just gets higher and higher. So if I start the verse, when I find myself in times of trouble, if I start that high, when I find myself in times of trouble, Then when I go to sing the chorus, let it be, let it be, that's a little bit too high. I don't think I want to sing it up there. I don't like the tone of my voice up there. Maybe if I did it opera, let it be, let it be, I'd maybe be able to do it if I did it opera style. But so in this particular song, when needs to start a little bit low, so that when we go to the chorus, to the let it be, it won't feel too high. And so I've picked this note. This is the A below middle C, if you're wondering, if anybody knows how the piano works. So some of you probably know this, okay? If you don't know it and you've got the computer or your phone in front of you, get the words out right now. Yeah, take a minute or two. I'm going to be looking at it myself here. I'm starting out. Now, what I would do if I was learning this song for the first time or preparing for it, I would hum the line. So I'm noticing that the first few words are all on the same note. It doesn't go up until the word self. Oh, a really low note there. So the first note isn't the lowest note. Aideen, you're telling lies. Oh no, I don't have to go down there. When I find myself in times of... Okay, so I think maybe I've probably heard a version of this where it does go lower there. Okay, so the notes there aren't high. Let's think of them as kind of within that zone. They're going a little bit faster, as in the vibration is going a little faster. When I find myself, it'll sound better. A singer who sounds really good will sing in a consistent way. So because when I find my is all on the same note, see if you can get the same tone into each. When I find my, when I find my, when I... The vowels are changing, the words are changing, and that sometimes creates a different shape in your mouth. So just be a little bit aware of trying not to change the shape. When I find myself, yeah? When I find my, when I find my, all on the same note. Are we nearly ready? Let's just do the first verse. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Excellent. So when we're on those slightly higher notes, keep them low. Don't let the chin jut forward. We've just spoken about all this. When I find myself in times of trouble, think of it within that tube. Mother Mary comes to me. Think of it within the tube. Speaking. So I'm not thinking like this. Speaking. Where I'm looking up. Just careful of that. Words of wisdom, let it be. And the next line. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be. Now, it doesn't go up any higher than the previous let it be. So speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And then the chorus starts with let it be. The exact same melody. Let it be. So there's a higher note there. So yeah, that is a little higher. So let's imagine that we're pushing that down into this zone and we're keeping our chin level. Let's just do this. Hum it. If you can hum it, you will be able to sing it. Now, because it's on the word be, what some people will do, most people, is they'll say be the way that you'd say it. Oh, let it be. There's a slight kind of widening of the mouth. what I'd like you to do is let it be. Be where you're using your tongue. E with your tongue. Keep your lips like this. Fish face, remember? Surprise fish face. E, E, E. Try and make an E sound without moving your mouth. E. Let it be, let it be. So slightly poshify or make it sound a little bit more sweet on that high B. I think that's probably the highest note in the whole song. And it happens to be a B. Sorry. It's funny. That's like a musician joke. It's actually the note B as well as the word B. Okay, now, did everybody get their words out? Fantastic. We're going to go through the whole song now, okay? And so thanks for doing that little bit of prep with me. I spoke about breathing on one of the classes. So little sigh to begin with. We don't want to do this. Right, just relax your tummy with a sigh, and when we get to the higher note, try not to breathe in loads extra. Think of it sweeter. Think of the E as being your tongue making it. And maybe don't think of anything at all and just enjoy the song, because today is really about enjoying it. Yeah. When, ready. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Relax tummy. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Beautiful. Let's do it again. Yeah. That was a good practice run, wasn't it? Sometimes, you know, we think, oh, we have to be perfect the first time through. Let's do it again. Actually, I'm kind of wishing now that I had spent a bit more time warming up earlier today, because I can hear that in my voice, that it needs warming up. But anyway, I just have to accept how I am right now, right? The way you guys have to accept the way you are. You know, sometimes we have this idea of how we want to sound, and when it doesn't sound that way, we can be really hard on ourselves. It's like, oh, it's awful, da, da, da. Don't do that. If you can help it at all, just be like, oh, my voice is not sounding as good as usual. Like, interesting. Maybe I should be warming up more. You know, just think of it as a line of inquiry and noticing and awareness, rather than something that you need to beat yourself up over. Did you notice how I took that little relax? I took a kind of a sigh at the end of the verse and before the chorus. Try and notice those things, because that'll help you to avoid that, you know, big in-breath into the chest where it'll make you feel a little bit like you're running out of air. Okay? We're doing it one more time. Really good. This time with feeling. How about that? Okay, good. Oh, I actually, if you haven't seen Paul McCartney in James Corden's carpool karaoke video, look it up, because he talks about his mother, Paul McCartney's mother, Mary, and the dream that he had about her, that was the inspiration for this song. James Corden, have you ever seen Carpool Karaoke? It's absolutely brilliant. Look it up. Okay. Nice and relaxed. Good. We're all in a kind of a time of trouble right now, so maybe let's sing this and intend for anyone who's in a time of trouble that we're singing it for them. Okay? When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine on till tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Good job, everyone. For some reason that feels kind of emotional, right? Thank you for singing that with me. It was beautiful, and I can feel that we really gelled together, whoever's been joining in. And if you're watching the replay, this energy is going to you right now. Really beautiful. Well done, everyone. that is the end of the Stay in Tune challenge. I managed to stay in tune. Did I fulfill my goal to stay in tune for that song? Good. I hope you liked it. I'm planning on doing a bit of a sing-along next Friday again at the same time. I hope you can make it. I will be putting a poll into the group to choose a song, and we will go from there. I'm hoping to do a little bit more of the Facebook Lives as well every week. So look out for that. And you know, if you're interested in doing a little bit more work with me, take me up on the 15-minute call. Let's have a chat. And my group classes, the singing room, starting next week. So be very happy to have you there. It's $50 a month special offer. So I hope you guys would be interested, because I'd love to get a few of you into that class and see a little bit more of you. All right. God bless you all. And let's take that words of wisdom, and in all things that we don't have control over, let it be.